method of installing this rod using the clevis that's on here, and I'll give a quick overview of that. It's not a method that I used and others have posted after we put all this stuff together, so if you want to use that method, you certainly can. I can see the advantages of it, but also it makes it a little more difficult in adjustment. But basically, here's what you're going to do. You're going to leave this clevis on like it shipped to you originally, and you're going to remove the bushing, the quick connect bushing that's on the servo. So take the screw off the middle here of the forearm connector and then pull that guy off. And then you're going to need to remove the lock washer that's on the back of there. This is what it looks like. It's got some teeth on it, and you can see it sort of goes on one way and clamps on. If you're careful, you can use some pliers to just sort of pull that off and bend it out of the way and bring it off of that little nub there that it's on. Basically, I just grabbed onto one corner of it and sort of pried it up, and as it sort of, pulled away, it cleared the nub on there and came out. Now that nub's going to have a little bit of a burr on it now, so you're going to have to try to work it out of this arm. Even if you break this arm, it's not a big deal. We included the second arm, so you can use that guy, or you can just use any of the other 3 arms that are on that forearm gizmo here. It doesn't matter, but basically you need to pull that bushing out, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so the bushing's removed now, and you're ready to put everything back together. You're going to take this clevis, and it spreads apart. It's just sort of a spring fit kind of situation here. You can see the lower arm is attached to that sort of metal rivet there, and the upper arm just slides over it. So you just need to spread those apart. You can use a screwdriver, some pliers, whatever, and then you're going to slide that black little rod over one of the arms that you're going to install back on the servo. So if you use the forearm or the 2, it doesn't matter, but you're going to put it in the outer hole of any of those, and it doesn't matter which direction. So I would reinstall that onto one of the arms first, and then you can put those arms back on the servo with the black screw that came out. So I'm going to do that now. So here's an idea of what you're looking for. You can see I spread that apart and got the nub, little rod there, into that hole, and then it's just going to come back together and it's attached. So that's basically all you need to do on this end to connect it, and then just put this sprocket back onto the servo and put the screw in. Now, obviously, based on your adjustment procedure, this is going to possibly rotate, and you'll have to realign it once you get it into the machine, but that's the basic idea on this end. Once you get this rod put into the machine and up through the chest lid, when you get to the top, that's when you're going to put this brass bushing back on. And basically, this is going to replace the nut as if you were doing it the original installation method we showed. So you're just going to thread the rod into that hole and tighten down that screw a little bit, and you can just use this as an adjustment mechanism versus going under the playfield and doing it. You can do it from above. What you'll have to do in the end, though, is cut some of that rod off once you have it pretty well aligned and are happy with it, because it will stick up behind the chest. So again, you'll thread this rod up through the playfield and have to guide it into the chest bracket, and then you can put this bushing on and tighten it down. And I probably would do that with this removed from the servo, and once it's all up and put in there, then you can put that back on the servo. But that's the basic idea. It's really just flipping this rod around and using the pieces in a different way. Either way, it should work fine, and you can trim this rod whichever way you install it. You may want to just trim it when you're done, and you can do that with a set of wire nippers. It clips pretty easily. You can see we already clipped it a little bit to fit it in the box, and you didn't need the whole thing. So that's the alternate. You can do it either way. I see the benefit of this one being that this bushing sort of acts as a roll pin almost on top of the lid, instead of needing to have that nut sort of grind up and down on that lid piece. That bushing will roll around instead, and so you don't have to bend the rod a little bit to make it fit like I show in the install. So you could do it either way. like I said, I can see it working both ways. So that's the basics of using that other installation method.